Hey guys, Tom here. Seems like it's been ages since I have given any kind of an update about the status of what's going on around here. Obviously, as you know, if you follow this channel and watch this channel, I've been kind of absent lately. And that's because of a couple of reasons. I hurt myself, had to have my knee scoped, and actually had about 90% of my meniscus taken out. So I wasn't doing a lot of things, and the things I was doing prior to having surgery, I just had to get done, and I really couldn't take the time to film them. And there were some projects that I've shown you before that I didn't bother filming because you've already seen them. But what has been going on around here? I'm going to try to take you a quick look around of the main projects that we have done and haven't done, or not haven't done, but have on the schedule to be done. So we'll see what happens. I apologize ahead of time. It's a little breezy today, but we're going to try and see what we can do. The first main project we did recently was the roof. I don't know if you recall, but we had a lot of problems with the roofs. With the roof, it was a 25-year-old roof. It was leaking, so we just replaced it. That was one of those projects that, although we could have done it, it just wasn't feasible or practical for us to try to do it ourselves. It would have taken us a month of weekends to do what the roofers did in a day. The next thing is this project, and this is the reparging of the wall. And why I wanted to show you this project and go over it again was because this seems to be one of the most talked about and commented projects that I have ever done and shared with you guys. Although I do welcome all comments, I've had some of the most crazy comments telling me how wrong this project was and how I did it. Here's the thing. I don't show you things because I'm telling you it's the be-all and end-all way to do something. I show you because I just want you to take the initiative and do it for yourself. I mean, people were asking me, has it held up? Oh, it's going to be maintenance all the time. It's held up well. And I've also had people say, oh my gosh, you did it wrong. You should have put up lath, and you needed a scratch coat and this and that. And you know what? It's not a restucco job. It's a recoating of the block, and I did it exactly how the manufacturer says. Next project that we want to do is we want to replace this shed. It's a tent shed, and it served us well. We got it jammed with stuff, our tractor and lawn equipment, and actually I store my saw back in there. So the big thing is, are we gonna get a kit? Or are we gonna stick build it? We're leaning towards stick build because A, it'll be more cost effective, and B, we can build what we want, and C, I think the kits are kind of junky. The way they're put together, the construction of them, I don't really care for them. So we're leaning towards stick build. Next project, fire pit 2.0. The old fire pit kind of collapsed in the winter. It got some snow and ice in the wall, and the wall came down. So we have started this. Initially, we were just going to pour in this ring concrete and then rebuild the stone wall. We have the stones, you see, and rebuild the stone wall around the inner circle. But now we actually might be leaning towards pavers. It's still up in the air. It was covered because I didn't want the form to get wet and all jacked up, although it is has gotten a little jacked up. I didn't show you any of this because I've already shown you a fire pit, and this was one of those projects that I had to get done before I had my surgery, which, as you can see, I did not get done. Next big thing that I'd like to do before the fall, which doesn't really matter because I don't have a fire pit to burn it in, is all of this wood. When we cut down all the trees that were blocking this view, which is beautiful, except for that power line back there, we see deer and fox and birds and all kind of stuff back here. We cut down all this wood. That's the tarp that was over the fire pit. We cut down all this wood that still needs to be split. So one day, I think I'm just gonna rent a splitter and just go to town and see how that goes. Next up is, this was just something I threw together. I got from my buddy at work who was ripping them out of his yard for some reason. I got 1, 2, 3, 4 raspberries. I put them in last fall. I mean, they take, I don't know how well they're doing. I have to talk to my buddy Christopher, who is my raspberry whisperer. I guess they're going all right because look, I have 1 little tiny raspberry, and I'm sure they take a couple years to establish themselves. So I'll check with Christopher, who is my guru, go-to guy of all things gardening. If you're a gardener or have a workshop, check out his channel if you don't already. It's great. Oh, I'm gonna stop right now because you can't see over there in our little bird sanctuary. Oh, did you see that hummingbird? He flew away. But that leads me to our little garden trough here. Tomatoes growing like crazy. We're gonna be in Tomato City here shortly. I already have some growing, a couple cherry tomatoes, plum tomatoes, big sandwich tomatoes, peppers of all kinds. These are supposed to be orange peppers, but they're just green right now. See that big guy in there? Jalapenos, which are growing like crazy. And this is another green pepper, doing pretty well. And a couple little herbs in our little herb box. And I have to show you something over here. This was a hole, a ditch in the ground that we filled with all the fill from the fire pit. It's actually doing pretty well, but I have to overseed it, I think. When we were doing the tomatoes, when we threw out the junk into the compost, look, I had a cherry tomato is just taken off wild in the compost. I'm not gonna do anything to it. I mean, it's taken over the whole compost. It's actually pretty funny, I think. Apple tree, pruned it way back. It was overgrown and choking itself out, so I opened it up. I have to do some more. Apples are growing, so I guess that's okay. This pear tree, another prune job, which I have to do again because you see how tall it's getting. We're trying to keep it low. There was another one here that was rotten and diseased that we tore out. And this one, if anybody knows, is like an arborist or that, see all that, I'm guessing it's some kind of fungus. And I don't have any pears. Well, that's not true. I have this one here and this one here, and they don't look that great. 2 pears. So I don't recall, last year we had a lot of pears and they were good. Do fruit trees not bear every year, or pear trees? I don't know. So if you know, please tell me, I'd like to hear. Another thing we have to do before winter is our frames. If you've seen on any of the HomeCraft social, we frame this in the winter because we store our pellets back there. And there's panels that we had covered with plastic, but unfortunately, this guy right here, who thinks he's a dog because he wants to be tied out all the time, rips through the plastic. So it's become just a menagerie of packing tape. So we're going to recover it. We wanted to recover it with plexiglass, but that's kind of expensive. So we're going to try heavy clear vinyl, because some sections we did have plexiglass, and if he can see out, he's not as inclined to want to rip through it. So that's the deal with that. So the only other thing, actually the other thing, remember our crabapple tree? He's doing really well. He's like up to about, oh gosh, he's got to be 8 feet. I am 6'4", he's 8 feet, I guess. Flagpole project turned out really well. If you need a cheap flag, or not a cheap, but if you need an inexpensive way to make a flagpole, check that video out. Easy, inexpensive. This guy here, post light that we put in for our front garden. I'm not big on solar lights, but I gotta tell you, this guy's a winner. We got it online, I think from Costco. It was I think around $100. The brand is called, I wanna say Lutec or Lusec, L-U-T-E-C, maybe. It lights up like it's great. We can't be more happy with this light. I did another section of the parging right here. This had a lot of cracks and stuff, and heavy rains, water, we think was seeping through the porch right here, which I sealed up that joint. And this wall, we think it was getting thin and dripping down into the basement. That's a project you need to stay tuned for. Other thing, we need to seal or repave this driveway. We'd like to widen it, we'll see. And this garage has seen better days. Now, people also ask me about the basement. I'm gonna take you in the basement, but you can't tell anybody because I'll get in trouble if Lisa knows I showed you this basement that is in serious need of some attention. But here's the deal with the basement. People always are asking me, how's it coming with the bar? Well, you tell me. How's it coming with the bar? We haven't really done much back here, except for just recently started cleaning it out because we do want to start working on the bar. The bar is going to go probably from right where this, at the edge of this chair here, back to the corner, somewhere around the end of that tabletop right there, probably about 3 feet out, and then L over to right about where that TV is as soon as we get rid of the TVs. We got 4 TVs down here. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4 TVs down here. Luckily, our town is having an electronics recycle this weekend, so we'll be able to get rid of some of that stuff. In the other section around here, I have to get a new control panel for the stove. The stove died at the end of the season. We have to finish this wall. We do that kind of piecemeal because that takes some time. This wall I built is one of the projects I didn't show you because I've already shown you how I build a wall. I have this interesting way that I still have to put the casing up, but the way I boxed out the window, I'll show you. And here's another project that I have for you. That's the thing. I have a lot of projects that I've recorded, but I just haven't had time to edit them. So as soon as I have time, I will show you. And another reason why I've been kind of behind in my postings is because what I've been doing in here. This is my studio where I edit and do some other things, and let me tell you about that. This is my little studio, and lately, not only do I do my video editing in here and voiceover in here, but I also do some professional voiceover work. If you are a big fan of celebrity type videos on YouTube, if you watch either eCelebrity Facts, Hitsberry, or my How book, a lot of those videos, you hear my voice. I also do a lot of audiobook work, and I'm trying to expand into some other voiceover work. So that's what I do in here, and that's kind of what's keeping me from doing the main projects and everything else on my list that I just haven't gotten done. But let's get back to it. So that's what's been going on around here. As you can see, my to-do list is huge, and I got to get back to it. But before I do, please, if you're not already subscribed to the HomeCraft Chronicles, please do, and make sure you hit the notifications, because coming up in the next couple of weeks, I have an announcement I'm going to share with you that's going to take this channel back to kind of what it originally started. And that's DIY home improvement, getting out, taking care of your home, and making it the home that you want it to be. But for those who enjoy the happy hour, you also want to make sure that you check out this announcement, because it's just going to change the way we do business around here. So I'm getting back to the list, trying to mark some stuff off. So until I see you real soon, remember, take care of yourself and your home. I'll talk to you soon.